Good afternoon, students. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Khushbu. Mohammed Ansari, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
See, you have not submitted anything. Any special reason behind this?
Ma'am, I have submitted today, ma'am, in the
What?
morning.
You?
Hello?
Yes, I
Hello?
can hear you. Please,
Yes,
please.
ma'am.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have submitted today in the morning, ma'am.
Today morning, what did you submit?
Ma'am, experiment 1 and 2.
And
And
for 3 and 4?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm not having the laptop, ma'am. So, ma'am,
No, but yesterday I had announced something. No, if you are not submitting, you don't attend anything.
yes, ma'am.
Instead
Ma'am,
of
I
me
will
telling
submit
you
it.
to leave the class, better you only leave the class. Because this is not happening with you first time. No, your attendance is also not good. Before this also we had talk regarding this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, but I'm not finding any improvement in your things. That's what I'm asking. Any reason behind this? If you have any value or valid reason, then I can think of it. But without any reason, I will not allow you. You please leave the class. As and when you finish your all submission, then only you come. Don't
Ma'am,
waste
I'm
my
not.
time and my spoil our class mood also.
Laptop for the
No, 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 no. Please don't give me this kind of reasons, please. And those for those who have this reason, you can come and join the lab in the college. I told you yesterday also. But if you have any problem of your laptop or desktop machine, better you can come to college and you can join from the lab, any of the lab. I will instruct lab assistant accordingly. Because this reason you can't give me throughout the semester.
yes, ma'am.
Yes. I hope you can understand what I am trying to tell you or trying to bring in your class regarding discipline. As and when you finish, you please join after that also. Yeah, please. Rupesh, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
या क्या हुआ बा आपका वीडियो ऑन करो लेट मी सी योर फेस
Yes, ma'am. 1 minute.
या प्लीज other students please bear us for next 5 to 10 minutes and then we will start. Let me just sort out this issue of submission. Never ever I have faced like this. Yes, Kaustub, you have also not done anything or some part is left. Rupesh and Kaustub.
No, ma'am, I have submitted all of them. Just check it once.
Any quizzes left?
All, no, only one is left, which is till 4 p.m. I'm
Acha,
preparing
today's
for that.
thing. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
no problem. Yes, Rupesh, I'm waiting for you. Roll number 32, Bajrang Londe. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Bajrang, out of 4 labs, you were absent for 3 labs.
Yes, ma'am.
Then, what is the reason for that?
Ma'am, firstly, my grandfather had passed out, and now my dad had operated his eyes, so I was accompanying him with to hospital. That's why.
Then, how are you managing your submission? You're taking
Ma'am,
from your friends.
I learned it from YouTube. The format I asked my friends,
Okay.
and also you uploaded the notes on Moodle. So
Hello, ma'am.
I took
Yes.
the reference from that.
Okay. Yes, रुपेश. क्या
Yes, ma'am.
बाबा, आपने कुछ सबमिट नहीं किया है, क्विज अटेम्प्ट नहीं किया है,
मैम
क्या
मैं
प्रॉब्लम
अभी
है?
सबमिट करने वाला था, लेकिन मैंने सब डॉक्यूमेंट फॉर्मेट नहीं किया था। तो मैं जब भी पीडीएफ में कन्वर्ट कर रहा हूँ तभी वो मतलब इन ऑर्डर में जा रहा है। तो उसके लिए मुझे अभी मतलब अलग से पीडीएफ डाउनलोड करना, मतलब अलग से पीडीएफ फॉर्मेट में करना पड़ेगा। इसके लिए मैं लेट हो गया।
बट आई टोल्ड यू टू यूज लेटेक्स सॉफ्टवेयर फॉर दिस ना, तो लेटेक यूज करते हो तो डॉक्यूमेंट में जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. इट विल
हाँ मैम।
जनरेट पीडीएफ ओनली.
यस मैम।
देन,
वो
और
पीडीएफ में
ये
हो गया कन्वर्ट
द
इसलिए।
थिंग दैट आई एम आस्किंग दैट
यस
अभी
मैम।
क्लास में नहीं आना है, देन यू आर टेलिंग मी, बट पहले एक्सपेरिमेंट से क्या सोए थे? When we
नहीं मैम।
started this, you were sleeping or what?
नो मैम।
You please leave the class. As and when you complete your submission, then only come.
यस मैम।
Huh? Please, please. I think remaining 48 are there who have done the submission part. If not, you please. Alisha, what is your reason for not meeting? Not Alisha Ansari, second Alisha. You have not submitted the recent experiments.
Yes, ma'am. I was out of town. I'll do it in 1 hour, ma'am. I'll do it.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let me just go through the. Mohammed, I said you can leave the class. Better you finish it up and then only join.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, please. Okay, I think right now I'm finding 48 students are here in the class. The names I'm going through so I can find that they have submitted the things. Omkar, how could I miss you? Omkar. काय बाबा, काय आपण सुधारायचंच नाही ठरवलंय का? हा, Omkar? Are you there? Please unmute yourself. Yes, please unmute yourself, Omkar. See, Omkar, before this, okay, you are going to rejoin, okay? Omkar, I'm waiting for you.
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Yeah, then you should tell me na that you are back.
Yes, ma'am, I asked you, ma'am.
Yes, please be clear when you are
Yes,
speaking.
yes.
Yeah.
ma'am.
What about your submissions, Omkar?
I have done, na? 1, 2,
All?
3, 4, yes. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the three quizzes.
Okay. What about your attendance? Can you tell me how many lectures you attended?
Not sure.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Fine. Out of 12 lectures, you have attended only 4. And I guess before this, if you remember, I had already talked with your brother. Yeah. So, अब क्या reason है? What reason you have?
Ma'am, I'm attending.
Then how come your attendance is not there? Please answer my question.
Ma'am, I'm attending the session.
If you are attending, then why attendance is not here with me? Can you tell me when was the last COA lecture happened and what was the content of lecture?
No, ma'am, last lecture I wasn't there.
Before that,
I guess experiment 4.
I'm asking about lecture, not about lab. Can you tell me the date on which you attended last lecture?
No, ma'am, I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
Okay, tell me the last topic that you attended in the class.
This K mapping, I guess.
Sir, you're not regular. This is last warning I'm giving you. And today again at the end of the class, I want to meet your parents.
Okay, ma'am.
You remain in the class.
Okay.
After the class, yeah, after 3:30 also you remain in the class. Let me
Okay.
talk to your parents. Okay, from this 47 students right now, if you have, when I'm going to start grading your assignments, experiments on the Moodle, if for any of the assignments I'm going to find any multiple copies of the same assignment, I'm going to give you the minimum passing marks. That is, out of 10, you will get 4 marks for both the things. Don't come and tell me, madam, मैंने पहले लिखा था, मेरे friend के साथ share किया. My friend asked me just for help and then she or he copied from me. So I don't want this kind of reasons. Please grow up. You are in second year now. So I don't want these reasons because I already asked you to withdraw your assignment if you have already copied from your friends. After that, today if I find any of the multiple copies of the same assignment, I'm going to give you only 4 marks for that out of 10. That too 4 marks because you need to get passing marks at least. So that's why I will be giving you 4 marks. And from next experiment onwards, your experiments will not be accepted if I'm going to find multiple copies of the same experiment. I hope those who are present here, the 47 students, are not doing that thing. But if anybody has done that by mistake, you will suffer for that. So after getting your grades, don't come and ask me, madam, मुझे 4 क्यों दिया? 4 marks मिला है, इसका मतलब आपका copy है. You only understand that. Fine. That's all from my side for this submission thing. Now we will start for today's session. Let me share my screen. So in the last lecture, we have started with 8086 architecture. If you remember yesterday's lecture, we have seen the architecture part mainly divided into 2, bus interfacing unit and execution unit. Then inside execution unit, you have few registers. Basically, they are general purpose registers, index register, and base register. Flag register is also a part of execution unit. And then remaining registers like the segment registers are there in your BIU part, bus interfacing unit. Now, all these registers you require when you are going to write program, assembly language program for 8086. So before we start writing assembly language program, one very important part we need to study is addressing modes. I think my slides are visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today we are going to first start with addressing modes. Once we finish addressing modes, there is another part required for assembly language programming, that is assembler directives, that we will complete. And then we will start simple instructions and start writing the different programs for this. So what is the meaning of addressing mode? First, see. Addressing mode is very important part for any microprocessor or microcontroller. Addressing modes tells you how to write the instruction. Like if I ask you write a sentence, you always start the sentence with noun and end it somewhere with your adjective or some kind of another noun. In between that you use your verb. So why you follow this syntax? Because this is some kind of syntax provided by, which is known as a standard syntax to write any statement. Like I am going to write, I am teaching you. So right now I am going to use some kinds of standard norms to frame any statement. Similarly, when you are going to frame here some kinds of instructions, some things that you want to write here, you should be knowing what is the different ways to write that instruction. What are the different ways to write the program? What are the different ways to write instructions and data of my program? These all things are provided by addressing modes to write various instructions for any microprocessor or microcontroller. The main categories here we are going to see is for 8086. But when you go for any another advanced microprocessor as well as any microcontrollers, they are going to follow the same way. Only there can be a change in number of bits of data handling or number of bits of your memory addresses, how you can address that or how you can access that. So today we will start here with addressing modes. See, this is one sample instruction written here. When you are going to write instruction, what you are going to write here is, just a minute, let me. Okay. So when I'm going to write instruction, this is my instruction is there. My instruction is maybe I want to go for addition of two numbers. So my two numbers will be part of my registers because microprocessor works on register. So these registers are your temporary memory locations. So I'm going to write some instruction, and then for that instruction, if I need to add any kind of label, I'm going to add this label part. This is not compulsory thing. Please, as per your program requirement, you will write the label. Then if you want to add any comment part here, which is it will not generate any code for that, or it will not generate any output for that non-executable part of your program. It's considered as a comment that you can write down after putting a semicolon. So when I'm going to write any instruction, for example, here one example is given. My instruction is MOV. This is move. Move instruction is telling me that copy data from one location to another location. So these two locations here I am giving with the help of two general purpose register. One register is AX, second register is BX. So what this instruction is going to do, it is going to copy the content of BX register into AX register. Why BX into AX? Because you have first is destination operand and second is source operand. So whenever you are going to write any instruction, you will be writing it like move AX, BX. First AX position is destination operand position and second position is for source operand. Move, MOV, this is known as operation code. In short, it is known as opcode. What is the meaning of opcode? when you are going to say move or add or subtract, these are some keywords which are understood by user. But when you are going to give that to any microprocessor is going to convert that into binary language. It will be of formation of zeros and ones. So for that, when I am saying add, inside my microprocessor or inside my converter, it is going to convert it into a respective operation code, and that operation code is in the hexadecimal number that will be converted into binary, and then microprocessor will generate respective control signals for that. That's why it is known as opcode, operation code, which is indicating what this instruction is you are going to use for. So how I can write instruction here? Another example given. My instruction is add, ADD. This is addition of two numbers. Which two numbers it will add? That you are going to mention here. I am going to write it AX, BX. I want to add content of BX register into AX, and again AX will be acting here as a destination, which will give you final answer. So like this, these instructions are written. Now, hello, is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, please continue.
So what we are going to write here is move AX and BX. Now, this way that I have written this is going to give me some kind of addressing mode. This is register addressing mode. Why register? Because I'm going to use here two registers of my 8086 microprocessor. Instead of these two registers, if I'm going to use something else, it will be forming my another addressing mode. So like this, we are going to write simple instructions, and my group of instruction will form here different programs. So this is one example given for how to write the instruction. Various addressing modes for 8086. They are mainly classified into 5 groups. What are different address modes? You can see here. First one here you have is addressing mode for accessing immediate and register data, which is known as register and immediate addressing mode. Second one you have is addressing mode for accessing data inside the memory locations. So the different memory locations which are indicated here with different segments, if you want to access data from that, you are going to write the instruction which are forming memory addressing mode. Next one you have, if you want to access different input output ports, that I want to give some data through keyboard and it should be accepted by my processor, or I'm going to interface some device and I want to give with that some data, it is known as IO addressing mode, or it is known as IO modes. Last two are the relative addressing mode, very simple one, and last is implied addressing mode. So these are your basically 5 categories. From that, for first and last 3, you have single instruction way to write. But for data in memory, you have various different sub modes to write your different instructions. We'll see one by one all these modes. First one to start with is accessing data in immediate addressing mode. Register addressing mode. When you are going to specify only registers in the instruction as source as well as destination operand, it is known as register addressing mode. For example, I can write instruction move BX, CX. Which instruction or which registers I can use here are general purpose register, mainly AX, BX, CX and DX. So any of these registers I can use here. So I'm writing move BX, CX. So this is forming my register addressing mode. Next one is immediate addressing mode. When I'm going to declare my data of the program as a part of instruction, then it is known as immediate addressing mode. For example, I am writing instruction like this, move BL, 26. What this instruction will do? It will copy number 26 into BL. Finally, I am going to get BL is equal to 26 because I am writing instruction to move. Now, instead of BL, you can write down BX also. If you are going to use 16-bit data, you will be writing BX. If you want to use only higher or lower 8 bits data, you can write down BL or BH. That is, example is given here. See, this is another example for 16-bit. I am writing move CX. I want to copy some content inside CX, which is the data I want to copy here is this one. This is number 4566. This H that you are finding is hexadecimal. All the operations written in assembly level language are using hexadecimal numbers. So this is your H symbol is indicating this is hex number. So I'm going to copy this 4566 in the CX register. So when you can see the direct difference in the first and second instruction. When I'm writing move BX and CX, here I'm not mentioning any data. My data is there inside registers. So it is known as register addressing mode. But when I'm writing these instructions, these two, I'm mentioning this number 26 or 4566 as a part of my program, as a part of my instruction. So it is known as immediate addressing mode. Next one, we have data accessing in the memory locations. When you want to access data in the memory, there are various different ways to access that. Which are these access ways? Here the 5 ways are listed. These 5 are going to tell you how to access your data. That data is accessed with the help of effective address concept. I'll tell you what is this effective address and how it is mentioned. That is going to tell you which of the addressing mode you are writing. Effective address is displacement of desired location from the segment base. Displacement of desired location from the segment base. What is the meaning of this? That I will explain you. I'll stop sharing this because I just want to explain you few things on board. We'll go for that first. And then I'll come back to slides again. Now see, in the last lecture we have seen that there is memory of 64K for each one. And inside this you have these various segments made. Data segment, code segment, stack segment and extra segment. Okay. Now, when any of the segment you want to use there, what happens normally? Just take one example only of data segment. When we are going to use our program to keep our data, we have to take help of data segment only. These segments are given specific names and operations. Data segment will always keep the data of your program. So how this data segment is there, you can see. When I'm going to have this data segment, this is the whole data segment, I may say. The size of this data segment whole together is 64K. Now in this 64K memory, somewhere my data will be there. You can imagine the blocks like this. In 64K, these are various kinds of blocks formed there. Now within this block, somewhere my data is there. Normally this data segment, I'm just taking the example of data segment. This data segment will have some of the base address. For example, if it is starting here, if this data segment is starting from this location, just imagine this is the base location. Just a minute. I guess it is disconnected. Okay. So see here, this is the base address of my data segment. From this address, my data segment is starting. Now, when this base address is there, you can imagine any number for the base address. For example, I am imagining here 2000 is the base address. And from this location onwards, 64 kilobyte locations are there where my program's data will be residing. Now this 2000 will be converted into 20,000 to convert it to physical address. Logical address is 2000 and I am going to give some displacement value. Displacement value is your effective address. So maybe this is starting at location 2000 and from 2000 onwards, maybe after some 100 locations or after some 50 locations, here is my program data. My number will be 25H, for example. So this is my data somewhere in the data segment starting from location 2000. So this distance from the base address is known as displacement. This is starting at 2000 location and converting into 5-bit 20,000. From that it is counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and somewhere it is having this number. Maybe I'm counting these locations are 50 locations. So what is happening here? I am going to have this number exactly starting from the base address and then I will go for 50 more locations and then I am going to get my exact data of the program. So this 50 number is going to form my effective address, EA. This is also known as displacement. Why it is known as effective address? Because you are going to start at base address location. From that it will count how many locations will be there to get your exact data. Here in this case it is 50, a random example we are assuming, and this is the exact desired data of my program, that is number 25. Similarly, I may have my code of my program in the same way. I'm starting at some code segment base value and from that some locations are there and my code of the program is going to reside over there. So this displacement value, how you are going to denote there? Based on that, there are various modes of your accessing memory addresses. This memory will be accessed with various ways. Either you can go with directly giving its location address or this displacement will be given in some other way, and based on that various addressing modes are formed there. I'll just share my slides again and we will continue for various examples there. Just a minute. Slides are visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see the first one. There are various ways, as I said. The first here is addressing mode, which is known as direct addressing mode. What is the meaning of direct addressing mode? We will see now. Now see, in direct addressing mode, 16-bit effective address is taken directly from the displacement field of the instruction. What it means, see here. I am writing one instruction move CL comma, and when direct addressing mode is there, I am going to write that in square bracket. Square brackets are indicating this is a memory address, memory location. So what it is telling you, content at the location of 9823 will be copied to number CL. In the CL register, it will copy the data. This is 9823 is known as displacement value. This displacement value, it will find out from the base of data segment and copy the content over there. What it means, again, I'll show you. Now see the same example 9823, the on the screen that I just showed you, what this instruction means. This is your data segment. This is starting at some base address here. I'm imagining here 2000. I'm converting into 20,000. This is H, indicating your hex number. This is the base value, and from that going up to 9823 locations, I'm going to have my desired data. My data can be any number. For example, I have number A, B. These are your hexadecimal notations. So my number is A, B. This is 8-bit number. This number now I want to copy in register CL. So how I'm going to write the instruction? I'm writing here itself. I'm going to write instruction move CL, comma, in the square bracket, I'm writing number 9823H. If this AB, I would have written in the immediate addressing mode, I would have written here move CL, comma, ABH. When I'm going to write this instruction, this is going to form my immediate addressing mode. But when I'm going to write this instruction's address in the square bracket, it is going to form my direct addressing mode. I hope you all are understanding this. Now this AB, instead of writing in these two ways, if I would have written the instruction, just a minute, I'll write here only, move, for example, see, I'm writing AL, comma, ABH. And then I would have written move CL, comma, AL. I'm doing the same operation in register addressing mode. Getting this? I hope you all are understanding. When I'm going to write any instruction where my content of the instruction or my data, I'm going to immediately declare in the instruction itself, it is known as immediate addressing mode. When I'm going to copy it into registers and use that register, it is known as register addressing mode. And when I'm going to give in the program its displacement value, its effective address in the square bracket, then it is known as direct addressing mode. By default, your data always reside in the data segment. So first it will find out what is the base value for it. Then it will add 9823 in that. It will be getting number 29823, and it will directly reach to that location where your program's data is residing. In this way, your concept of effective address or offset value is used. This is known as offset. Offset is equal to, in this case, 9823. But directly 9823 पे आपको कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला. This is some offset value for this base value. So this base value is for data segment, DS. Starting value plus it will add that offset value and reach to that location where you are going to get exact data that you are going to copy in CL register. I hope you all are understanding this. If any doubt, please ask.
Ma'am, can you move the board?
Okay, which side? This or this? Right. Okay. Visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you repeat the data segment part?
Okay, I'll just clear this.
Data segment can be any value, no?
The base address can be any value because it is just a 64 kilobyte memory, and when you run the program at that time run time पे आपको जो भी memory available मिलेगा ना, that base address will be assigned to it. क्योंकि हम लोग जब भी प्रोग्राम लाइव रन करते हैं तो एनी टेम्पररी मेमोरी फ्रॉम द रैम लोकेशंस आर असाइंड. So same way some memory is assigned to your data segment. So the number that I assume is 2000. So like that you can have any number over there. हम लोग जब रन करेंगे ना टाजम सॉफ्टवेयर में, that time you can see the values of that data segment. But it can be any value randomly taken. See, basically, I hope, just imagine this. What I am trying to say you that your whole segment memory is divided into 4 parts. That 4 parts are code segment, data segment, stack segment, and extra segment. Code segment will always take code of the program. Data segment will always take data of the program. अब अगर समझो ये पूरा मेरा बोर्ड है data segment, तो ये पूरे 64 किलोबाइट मेमोरी में anywhere will be my data residing. How will I come to know where exactly it is residing? Is denoted by your memory address. So these address locations are considered here as effective addresses, because as I said randomly अगर आपका data segment start होता है 2000 पे, 2000 to convert it into physical address always consider as 20,000, last zero add होता है और वहां से आपका 64 किलोबाइट मेमोरी लोकेशंस असाइन है आपके पास. एंड दिस लोकेशन यू कैन इमेजिन लाइक दिस. दीज आर द वेरियस ब्लॉक्स. सेम वे आपका कोड सेगमेंट रहेगा, सेम वे आपका स्टैक सेगमेंट रहेगा. ये ऑल टुगेदर पूरा मेमोरी आपका है 64 किलोबाइट्स का. अब इसमें कहाँ पे है आपका डेटा? दैट इज गोइंग टू बी डिसाइडेड बाय ऑफसेट वैल्यू. जैसे मैं स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ 2000 पे एंड आफ्टर ओनली गोइंग बाय 5 लोकेशंस माय डेटा इज देयर. डेटा हम लोग कंसिडर करते हैं 55 नंबर है आपका, एनी 8 बिट नंबर. नाउ दिस 16 बिट नंबर आपको चाहिए तो आपके 16 बिट नंबर 2 लोकेशंस में सेट होंगे. पहले लोअर आएगा देन हायर आएगा. जैसे समझो मेरा नंबर है 1255. 1255 इज माय नंबर. तो ये नंबर मेमोरी में कैसे रहेगा? 55 and 12. It will take these 2 locations क्योंकि ये पूरा लोकेशन आपका 8 बिट का है. 8 बिट में आपका 55 नंबर आएगा. पूरा लोकेशन आएगा 1255. दिस इज लोअर बाइट एंड दिस इज हायर बाइट ऑफ योर डेटा. अब ये पूरा नंबर है 1255, वो आपको कोई रजिस्टर में कॉपी करना है. तो हाउ यू कैन राइट इट? I should know where exactly this displacement value is. अभी का जो एग्जाम्पल था उसमें डिस्प्लेसमेंट वैल्यू कंसिडर किया है 9823. हम लोग वही कंसिडर करते हैं एग्जाम्पल. तो आई एम स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 2000 लोकेशन. उसके बाद मुझे जाना है 9823 लोकेशंस पे और मेरा ये नंबर लोकेटेड है. तो हाउ विल आई राइट द इंस्ट्रक्शन? मूव CX. आई एम राइटिंग CX बिकॉज मेरा अभी नंबर ये 16 बिट है, 12 and 55. So I'm writing move CX comma in the square bracket I'm writing 9823. ये H. Why I'm writing 9823? Because I know that from the base address of data segment my processor has to go 9823 locations and then processor is going to get this data. When I will execute this instruction I am going to see CX is equal to 1255. ये मुझे मिलने वाला है. I hope now you are understanding. I'm writing this number, but ये एग्जीक्यूशन के बाद मुझे मिलेगा ये, क्योंकि ये लोकेशन पे मेरा डेटा रिसाइडिंग है. अब यही इंस्ट्रक्शन इन द immediate addressing mode I would have written move CX, 1255 directly. जो मैंने अभी ये लिखा है इसके जगह पे I would have written this instruction. I hope you all are understanding this.
Ma'am, can you show the instruction for this?
Which one? Move CX.
Right now, yes.
Yeah, I'll show you on the slides also. So just see this concept of data segment और कहाँ पे आपका data residing है. If you know that, then it will be easy to understand. I'll share my slides to go for the next addressing mode. Little bit, I hope little bit difficult आपको समझने में जाएगा, but once you see in the TASM program ना, you will understand that. Slides are visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you got it, how this effective address, this 16-bit effective address is taken directly from the displacement field of your instruction. This in the square bracket जो number लिखा है, this is known as a effective address or displacement field. Okay, this is your displacement field. So what it is telling you, see, copy the contents of memory location at a displacement of 9823 from data segment base into CL register. Data segment base, for example, we assume here is 20,000. So 20,000 se jaake it will find out the location and it will copy the content there. This is your direct addressing mode. Next one, you have register indirect addressing mode. Now in register indirect addressing mode, your effective address is specified either in pointer register or index register. The pointer or index register will get added into base register BX or BP, and then it will find out the exact location of your data. For example, now see here one example is given. Move DI in the square bracket, comma BX. What this instruction is written for? I want to copy the content of BX register to some memory location which is denoted by destination index DI. So this DI will be holding some number and it will get copied to that location. So what this instruction exactly means, that I will tell you now. What is the instruction? Instead of writing now any number in the instructions, I am going to write some instruction like move DI and BX. So copy the content of BX into some location pointed by destination index register. What this instruction means, I'll just show you. Now see the same example here. This is 9823. 1255 is my desired data that I wanted to copy. So I have written this instruction move CX comma something. Now यही instruction अभी उल्टा करते हैं. I'll write at one side the addressing ways we have seen. Move CX comma 1255. This is immediate addressing mode. Right now I have seen move CX comma in square bracket 9823. Direct addressing mode. Okay. And now we are going to see move CX comma in the square bracket DI. Or I'll write move BX here. Base register use कर रहे हैं BX and DI. अब ये instruction क्या काम करेगा? See here. I want to copy some content in the BX, which is denoted by DI. Now this DI will be holding this number. I should have DI is equal to 9823 first. And then this number is denoted here. So operation is same. Only thing how you are going to denote it. So what this instruction will do? It will again go and find out the base address. बेस एड्रेस पे जाके उसको कन्वर्ट करेगा 20,000 में. It will add displacement value denoted by 9, this one 9823. So it will add here 9823 and it will get some location where your data of your program is there. So it will copy that content into BX register. So finally BX will get number 1255H. So what I am doing, I am not mentioning this displacement value directly in the instruction, but I am keeping that into destination index register DI, and then I am mentioning that in the square bracket. Then it is known as displacement. How you are going to write the displacement based on this? This is known as register indirect addressing mode. So instead of mentioning the displacement value directly, you are mentioning that in the indirect way through some register. यही इंस्ट्रक्शन अगर आपको उल्टा करना है तो व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू, सोर्स एंड इंडेक्स हम लोग चेंज करते हैं. आई विल राइट डी आई हियर and I'll write bx. The same example of the slide. What I want to do here, bx will have some number. Maybe we will take the same number 1255. ये नंबर मुझे कॉपी करना है at the location denoted by di. अब di क्या डिनोट कर रहा है, तो di के अंदर आपको कुछ कंटेंट चाहिए, तो di will hold value 9823. So this 9823, where it will go? It will find out base value 2000 पे. 2000 पे ऐड करेगा 20,000 और उस पे जाएगा 9823 पे. तो इतना होने के बाद यहाँ पे कहीं पे उसका नंबर आ रहा है 209823. It will copy the content over there 55 and 12. पहले lower आएगा फिर higher आएगा. So this instruction, move in square bracket di comma bx, will copy the content of bx register to the memory location denoted by di. Di will be shown here in the square bracket. Di will be holding some number like this. Bx will be your content of the program like this, और ये calculate करके वहाँ पे copy करेगा. Understood this? This is register indirect addressing mode. अब यहाँ पे I am assuming 20,000 and 9823, 1255. These are some number data. उसकी जगह पे आपका कोई भी number data हो सकता है. It can be any number data. Got it? This is your register indirect addressing mode. Now instead of this DI, destination index and source index, if I am going to use some another register like the base register BX or BP, then it is known as base addressing mode. If I am going to use index register SI and DI, it is known as base index addressing mode. So it is just the combination of all the registers, and what are the names of the registers? Based on that, it will be using the various names. Now the displacement here that I have given is 9823. Like that, if I want to denote some another displacement value also, means what? See here, when I am writing this 9823 displacement, instead of writing this displacement value only, I will be using some label LAST. एक variable name में use कर रही हूँ, इसमें मैंने कुछ 1000 number डाला. Then my original displacement is 9823. तो final value कैसे आएगा? 2000 का convert करेगा 20,000 plus it will add original displacement 9823, फिर उसमें add करेगा 1000 और ये सब मिला के it will find out the final number, which is going to give you the exact location of the address. So how you are going to denote this displacement values? Based on that, these addressing modes are formed there. I'll just share my slides to show you next modes. See, the previous one we have seen this one direct हो गया, then register indirect, where displacement I'm showing with the help of some source or destination index. Next is base addressing mode. Base addressing mode में I am going to add some extra factor here, that is LAST, last. Last is one label. ये label में आपने कुछ तो data रखा है. इट इज गोइंग टू टेल यू. जैसे हम लोग एड्रेस किसी का बताते हैं तो नॉर्मली वी टेल फर्स्ट द कॉलोनी, name of the colony, then we tell the name of the colony. For example, here is data segment. फिर colony में अगर sectors है, various sectors, so it is starting from the base sector, like sector number 1. Sector number 1 से start करके you are going to tell go to sector number 10. That is your one displacement value. Again in sector number 10, if there are 50 houses, then how you are going to tell? Sector number 10 में जाने के बाद again you have to go to 5th house from sector number 10. So I will be adding again 5 number and I will reach to my location. That is my 5th house in sector number 10 in some XYZ colony. Same way what I am telling, first go to data segment. Data segment का base value देखो, उसमें आपका सेक्टर का नंबर ऐड करो, दैट इज डिस्प्लेसमेंट. अगर सेक्टर से डायरेक्टली आपके एक एक सेक्टर में सिर्फ एक ही हाउस है तो डायरेक्टली यू विल रीच टू दैट सेक्टर एंड यू रीच टू दैट अपार्टमेंट. बट अगर एक सेक्टर में जाने के बाद देयर आर वेरियस अपार्टमेंट्स, अगेन इन वन अपार्टमेंट देयर आर वेरियस फ्लैट्स ऑन ईच फ्लोर, देन आई हैव टू मेंशन इट सेपरेटली. सेम वे हियर इट इज शोन. I'm mentioning with some last label. I'm mentioning something in BX also. ये सब all together करके it will go to that respective location. वो location पे आपका desired data रहेगा. You will copy that in the AL register. This is your based addressing mode. Only the names are changed based on what are the different addresses or this locations you are mentioning, how with different registers. This is your base addressing mode. Similarly, next is your index addressing mode. Instead of base register, here I am using any of the index register. In 8086, there are two index registers. One is source index, second is destination index. I am going to mention that any of index register here. Then it is going to form my index addressing mode. If you see this instruction and the previous slide instruction is exactly same. Only I am changing the name of register here. यहाँ पे AL और BX है, यहाँ पे मैंने BH register use किया है. You can use any of the general purpose register. SI use किया है, this is index register. So the name of the addressing mode is index addressing mode. Now when I am going to combine base and index both together, it is called as base index addressing mode. The example right now I gave you. Go to sector, sector के बाद आप कोई कॉलोनी में जाओ, फिर सेक्टर में जाओ, सेक्टर के बाद आप अपार्टमेंट में जाओ, अगेन अपार्टमेंट में आप फ्लोर पे जाओ. So this is the example shown here. Multiple locations. एक लोकेशन BX बोल रहा है, दूसरा एड्रेस SI बोल रहा है, तीसरा TOT वेरिएबल बोल रहा है. ये तीनों को मिला के यू आर गोइंग टू रीच टू द लोकेशन. अब ये इंस्ट्रक्शन उल्टा है, लाइक CL कंटेंट है वो मुझे मेमोरी लोकेशन में कॉपी करना है. सो आई एम गोइंग टू कॉपी दैट. CL content, 8-bit content will be copied to that location. In this case, data segment base value is considered as 4000. तो ये 4000 का you can see here it is converted to 40,000. 40,000 में ये सब numbers आप add कर रहे हो. ये 1000 plus 1530 plus 0008 सब मिला के you are going to get this number. ये number पे आपका CL का content copy करेगा. Like this, your memory access of your various addressing modes are shown here. Understood? These are 5 ways. First is direct. Directly location बोल दो square bracket में, processor will reach to that. Secondly, indirectly आप कोई एक register में डाल दो तो वहाँ पे जाएगा processor. तीसरा, अगर base register use कर रहे हो BX और BP तो it is known as base addressing mode. अगर आप इंडेक्स रजिस्टर यूज कर रहे हो SI और DI, इट इज नोन एज इंडेक्स एड्रेसिंग मोड. एंड लास्ट इज अगर आप दोनों यूज कर रहे हो बेस एज वेल एज इंडेक्स रजिस्टर, देन इट विल बी कॉल्ड एज दिस वन, बेस इंडेक्स एड्रेसिंग मोड. अंडरस्टूड? एनी डाउट्स प्लीज आस्क, एल्स वी विल गो टू नेक्स्ट पार्ट. Next is telling you for accessing different input output ports. नाउ अगर मेमोरी में है तो अभी जो देखे उसमें से कोई तो मोड यूज होगा, बट not always necessary that data is there with memory only. If you are going to access with different input output ports, then there are two ways to access that. Two ways are, one is direct addressing mode and second is indirect. Indirect and direct are for specially for IO ports, input output ports. How it works, see here. The port numbers are given. There are total 256 port numbers given. These port numbers are given like 0 to 255. So any of this number will be used there to connect your IO devices. अगर मैं कोई पोर्ट नंबर 80 यूज कर रही हूँ तो 80 नंबर पे मैंने कीबोर्ड कनेक्ट किया है. मैं कोई पोर्ट नंबर 90 यूज कर रही हूँ जहाँ पे मैंने आउटपुट डिवाइस प्रिंटर कनेक्ट किया हुआ है. तो these numbers are important, 80 and 90, which are going to indicate various IO devices connected at that port. How I can write that? See, I'm going to use direct mode where the port number is directly mentioned in the instruction. Now, when these instructions are written for IO port, you are not going to write any move instruction to access that. Only in and out. These two are special instructions just to access input output port or devices. You can use any of these two. Out will be sending the content on some specified port. Port is 05. At 5 number port, my output device is connected. It can be a LED display, LCD display, 7-segment display. For 8086 I'm talking. तो कोई भी पोर्ट पे मुझे डेटा सेंड करना है. What data I want to send? Content of AL register. So how I am writing? Out at 05 number and content will be AL. Source and destination you can see here. It will send the content of AL register to 8-bit port 05. 05 पे आपने क्या कनेक्ट किया है? Accordingly you can see the result. उल्टा है, मुझे डेटा इन करना है, रीड करना है. यूजर इज टाइपिंग समथिंग थ्रू कीपैड और कीबोर्ड, वो मुझे रीड करना है. कीपैड और कीबोर्ड इज कनेक्टेड एट पोर्ट नंबर 80 फॉर एग्जांपल. तो क्या इंस्ट्रक्शन लिखेंगे? इन. इन इज टू रीड द डेटा. रीड करके डेटा कहाँ पे जाएगा? AX रजिस्टर में जाएगा. बाय डिफॉल्ट इट गोज इन एक्यूमुलेटर रजिस्टर ओनली. कहाँ से जाएगा? फ्रॉम 80H. 80 is the port number at which I have connected my keypad. Keypad पे मैं जो भी नंबर प्रेस करूंगी, processor will accept that and copy that 16-bit content to your AX register. कंटेंट आएगा 80 पोर्ट से. 80 पोर्ट पे आपको कुछ डिवाइस कनेक्ट करना पड़ेगा. Now when I am going to mention this port numbers 05, 80 directly in the instruction, it is known as direct mode to access IO ports. 8-bit number is an immediate operand and allows you to use the numbers from 0 to 255. Any number you can use there. Second is you can go with some indirect mode. अब indirect mode में क्या करेगा? It will take the port number from DX register. DX register में आपको यूज करना है the port number which is going to take your 64 kilobyte 8-bit ports और 32 kilobytes 16-bit ports. तो जो भी आपके पोर्ट नंबर है that you are going to access with the help of DX register. कैसे करना है? तो like this. I'm writing in AL, DX. I'm not writing 80H now. Instead of writing 80H, I'm going to use this DX register. DX register में I am going to copy the port number of my content. DX में ये आएगा नंबर, यहाँ पे आपको 8-bit content copy मिलेगा that you are going to take in the AL register. Understood? So this is indirect. Indirect में आपको always you have to use DX register to write your port number. If you are going to use direct, you can directly write numbers like 05 or 80 in the instruction itself to access various input output ports here. Next one, very simple, is relative addressing mode. Relative addressing mode is normally used when you are going to use any of the instructions which are coming in that way. For example, 8-bit displacement is given for this instruction. This is JNZ, jump on no zero. This is some kind of control instruction, program control instruction. Normally you write in the C language or any other language, you control the loop with if else, or you write down some condition and check, go to some statement, go to some lib. So that way you can write this JNZ instruction, jump on no zero. अगर zero flag आपका set नहीं है, then you are going to tell in the program, jump to this back label. Where this back is coming in the program, this will take jump to that one. In this mode, operand is assign 8-bit displacement relative to program counter. PC is program counter, or you may call it as an instruction pointer in case of 8086. IP, instruction pointer. Last addressing mode you have is implied addressing mode. Implied addressing mode does not have any kind of operand. No operand, single instruction like STC. This is set carry flag to 1, or STD, set direction flag to 1. So these instructions are directly operable on some of the inbuilt operations or some of the bits of your program or some of the bits of your flag register. So in that case, you need not write anything separately. That's why it is known as implied addressing mode. It will not take any operand. It will directly take the instruction like STC, set carry flag to 1. So directly it will operate on carry flag bit of your flag register. This is your last addressing mode. Got it? Implied addressing mode. If you have any doubt in this, please ask. Else we will start the next part. I have already uploaded these slides on Moodle, so you can see that for various examples as well. Any doubt here, please ask. You can unmute or you can type in the chat box also. Once we will start writing different instructions and programs, you will understand it. This is a little bit different as compared to your high-level languages. But once we start writing, you will really enjoy this and you will understand also. I'm sure about that. Any doubt?
Can you show the previous slide?
Yes, this one.
Yes, ma'am. Can you explain it again? Like, I didn't get it.
This is for controlling. I will tell you in the program. The instructions which are written like this, J, N, Z and back. You can see here I'm not writing any registers. Like I'm writing add X, BX. I'm not writing something like that. The instructions which are normally used for program control. The instructions here coming in this category are jump instruction. So when I'm going to write the instructions, where this back is one label. अपने ये हाई लेवल लैंग्वेज में यूज किया रहेगा ना, गो टू स्टेटमेंट, यू राइट स्विच केस स्टेटमेंट, सो विच आर कंट्रोलिंग योर प्रोग्राम. तो स्विच केस या इफ एल्स ऐसे स्टेटमेंट्स आपको असेंबली लैंग्वेज में नहीं है. दे ऑल आर द पार्ट ऑफ योर हाई लेवल लैंग्वेजेस. सो टू कंट्रोल द प्रोग्राम, लाइक आई वांट टू रन सम लूप फॉर 5 टाइम्स. अब 5 टाइम्स में कैसे रन करूंगी? यहाँ पे आपके पास फॉर लूप नहीं है, डू व्हाइल लूप नहीं है, नथिंग इज देयर. So I have to write some group of instruction and I need to control that. तो जैसे मैं लिख रही हूँ, मैंने एक काउंट रजिस्टर यूज किया है and every time I'm going to decrement that count by 1. Once it reached to 0, I'm going to say that loop is over. So for that I can write this instruction jump on no zero. अगर मेरा जीरो फ्लैग सेट नहीं है इसका मतलब काउंट इज स्टिल एग्जिस्टेंस. तो इन दैट केस आई एम टेलिंग गो बैक. बैक मतलब जहां से मुझे ग्रुप ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन फिर से रन करना है. मे बी सम 5 इंस्ट्रक्शंस आर देयर, so I will be writing this back label somewhere over there. So it will rerun that 5 instructions again and again till my zero flag is set, because this is jump on no zero. अगर zero flag set नहीं है तो जंप करो प्रोग्राम में. कहाँ पे जंप करो? डिनोटेड बाय दिस बैक लेबल. So that time you will control the loop with the help of program control instructions, which are coming under jump category. We will write some simple programs on this and you will understand that time. Any other doubt? Fine. If no doubt, we'll go for the next part and stop for today. These are your assembler directives. Assembler directives are another very important part when you are going to write assembly language program. These assembler directives are telling your assembler that consider this for this purpose. It is the same way when you write high-level language programs. Normally, you declare variables. If I want to use some 5 variables, I need to know what is the data type of these 5 variables I want to use. Whether it is character, it is integer, float, or long, or double. So I tell my compiler that consider this A, B, C, D, E, 5 variables of integer type. So you are directing your compiler to use that. Same way, when I'm going to write assembly language program, I'm going to direct to my assembler that consider this part for this one. That I am telling that these are the variables, these are the starting, this statement is starting of my code segment, this is end of my procedure, something like that, that I have to use with the help of some special keywords. That keywords are known here as assembler directives. Normally in the paper you will get short note type questions on assembler directive, or in MCQ also you may get question on that, or in almost every program you are going to use assembler directives when we are going to write program and execute it in TASM software. These are the simple ones starting with. There are many assembler directives. From that, I'm going to list here whichever is necessary for your program. आपको ये छोड़ के भी बहुत सारे assembler directives मिलेंगे. Once you search it on Google, उसमें से जो भी required है, that only I'm going to add here. First one is DB. DB is telling define type. DB directive is used to reserve byte or bytes of memory location in the available memory. How to use this? It is like this. I'm writing one variable name ranks of DB type and I'm giving some numbers. So this rank you can consider as a list, or you can consider this as an array. Array you already know in some of the languages. Here for array we are going to call it as a list. This list is of same data type of DB with content numbers 01, 02, 03, and the variable name for that is given is ranks here. This statement directs assembler to reserve 3 memory locations for a list named rank and initialize them with above specified values. These are 3 values that I am assigning. So when I will access this ranks variable, I am going to get these 3 numbers inside that rank list. Normally you call it as an array in other language. Other way to use DB is, I can use like this also. I want to declare this message variable of DB type, and what message I want to write assigned to this is, in single quotation I am writing good morning. This is also one way to use that. Second way to use that is this one. Value is my another variable of DB type, and I am telling 50H. 50H means it will assign total 50H memory bytes and leave them uninitialized, because you are just reserving the memory for 50H locations. Name you are giving to for that list is value, but inside that there is no data. Data you want to assign, you can have various ways to assign that. This is also another way to use DB variable. Same to DB, you have DW, define word. When I'm saying word, word will go for 16-byte memory. How to use that? Like this. Words is my variable name of DW type, and what content I want to assign is these 16-bit numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. H indicating these are hexadecimal numbers. So like this, any numbers I can assign to DW. Another way to assign DW is like this. W data is my variable name of DW type. I'm assigning 5 locations there, and initially I want to assign for this all the 5 locations with some number 6666. So what I'm writing, DUP. Assign this number with the content which is mentioned here in the square bracket. So W data inside the memory will take 5 locations, 5 word locations, 5 16-bit locations, and it will assign that total numbers. That is the same number I will be assigning to that 5 locations. So it will be taking total 10 bytes of memory, because for 1 5 it will be multiplied by 2, because this is DW type. Similarly, I can go for DQ. Q stands for chord word. It will take 4 words memory. I can go for DT. This is defined 10 bytes. It will take 10 bytes of memory for 1 location or for 1 content. That's why it is called as DT. ऊपर का जो दो है DW and DB, we are going to use in our program. DQ and DT I'm not going to use, but you can see in the practicals कितना मेमोरी असाइन होता है और आपका कंटेंट कहाँ पे स्टोर होता है. That simple examples I can show you for this too also. Next assembler directive we have is assume. Assume is going to decide some logical name to the segment. So when we are going to write program, in every program we are going to start with this one. Assume CS colon as a code. It is going to direct assembler that the code you are going to use with CS name. For CS code segment के लिए you are going to give name as a code. Similarly for data I will use DS as data. If you are going to use extra segment and stack segment also, you can use that. Once we write program, you will understand how to use this. Then when I want to end the program, normally आप high level language में end करते हो, तो अगर curly braces open कर रहे हो, तो you end with the curly braces. Here we don't have any kinds of brackets or braces over here. But I am going to write END. END is going to tell this is the end of my program. Mark the end of assembly language program. Similarly, if I am going to use any procedure in the program, I am going to write ENDP, end of my procedure. How to write that? See the example. Procedure is reserve keyword. Name I am going to give is variable name is star. This is star name procedure, and I will write n number of statements here. What this procedure is written for. At the end, I am going to write star, that is name of my procedure, and ENDP to indicate that this is end of my procedure. ENDP indicating end of any procedure. Then when I am going to write various segments, I need to end the segment. For that, I need ENDS, end of the segment. How to write this? See the example written. I am opening my data segment. I am writing my N instructions here. and I am going to close it. Data ends. Similarly, I am opening my code segment. I am writing all my n number of instructions inside this. At the end, I am going to end this code and ends. And in between that, I have to write this instruction. Assume CS colon code DS colon data. पूरा प्रोग्राम खत्म होने के बाद I have to end it with simple END. This is same like your brackets in your high level languages. This is end of my program. Then when I want to assign any variable at some even memory location addresses, I can use this even. How to use this example? See, even lookup is the name of my variable of word type, DW type, and I'm assigning 10 locations for that. All the locations will be getting data 0 initially. I'm writing DUP in bracket 0. Why this even is written? Whenever you have memory location will always take one address as an even address and second address as an odd address. Like when I start with number 1 is odd address, number 2 is even address, then 3 is again odd, 4 is even. So every memory location will have either even address or odd address. If you specifically want to write your variable at some even address location, then only you write down even. Otherwise, memory location में जहाँ पे number available है, it will assign that. It can be even address or it can be odd address. Then this equal. Equate is similar to is equal to symbol. I'm writing num equal 10. What is the meaning of this? I'm going to get a new m variable is equal to 10h value. Similarly, I can write it addition different way. Addition EQU add. So instead of writing this whole word addition, I can write ADD also. This is another way to write equate. Either you can assign character to that variable or you can assign some number to that variable. Next is extern and public. When we are going to use different procedures here. Procedures are same like your functions in your other language. You declare some functions. Some functions are declared local to your program. Some functions are declared global to your program. So this local and global concept is used here with extern and public. So when I'm writing any procedure in one module and I want to use that procedure in calling in another module, so in that case, this concept is used. For example, factorial is the name of my procedure here. So this factorial, I want to call in module number 2 also. So if I want to use that, it should be public. Otherwise, if it is private, it cannot go out of module number 1. The scope is limited. So this public procedure can be accessed in another module with the help of extern. Extern is telling that this is not belonging to module number 2, but it is belonging to module number 1 and it is publicly declared. So module number 2 has access to use that procedure. So these are your extern and public variables. Next is your group variable. Group is when you want to group the related segments. Related segment, for example, I am writing like this. Program, I am making the group of code, data and stack. And code, data and stack का जो मैंने group बनाया है, I am going to give the name to that is program. Instead of program variable name, you can give any XYZ variable name. So this program is group of code, data and stack. So when I want to use this code, data and stack, instead of these 3 words, I am allowed to use this variable name. I am writing program here and program here instead of code, data and stack. So when you want to group some related segments, you can use that. Next one, you have label. Label is to declare some kinds of labels in the program. These labels are used when you are going to write procedures. Here your procedures can be near or far procedure. What is the meaning of near and far procedure? It depends on the scope of that segment. अगर एक किसी वेरिएबल का किसी प्रोसीजर का स्कोप लिमिटेड है विद इन द सेगमेंट, इट इज नोन एज अ नियर प्रोसीजर. If it is allowed to be used by others also, it is known as a far procedure. So that time this label is used. For example, here next is my variable name. Next is my label name. I am declaring this label as a far type. That means it can jump to next another segment. You can have writing your programs where you can take jump in the program from another segment also, because this is of far type. If it is of near type, its scope is limited. You can use that within that segment only. Next one you have is length. If I want to find out length of any variable, length of any character data, array or string, I can use this length assembler directive. For example, see, array is my variable name. Inside array, I must have written some names of students. For example, I have some content of character type. I must be having some 10 character words written over there. And I don't know exactly what is the length of that array. I can use this length variable or length assembler directive. Move cx, comma, find out the length of array. So it will find out, count the length of array and copy that into cx register. Then for declaring your variables, it can be of local type, it can be of global type. Local type within the same procedure, you can write down the local label over here. Local a comma b comma data comma array comma xyz. A, B, data, array, these are your variable names which you are declaring of local type. Then these are last one, name. If you want to give any logical name to your module, you can write down name assembler directive. Offset, if you want to find out offset of any label, you can write down move ax comma offset mes. Mes is one variable name. Where it is located in the data segment, its effective address is given by this offset. I will give you some practical implementation of all these assembler directives. That time you will understand it in clear way. Just for today, I have just given you the review of all this. In the next lecture, we are going to start writing programs on this, where you will be getting out of this 16, maximum assembler directives will be used in your program, in your different examples. And that time you just go and refer on the slide what that assembler directive we are going to use for what purpose. For theory purpose, these slides are enough for your final exam study. I'll stop here. So in today's session, what we have seen is various address